Good evening. I'm Jeffrey Lessel. You can call me Geo. Thanks for joining me tonight. I've got a few things tonight that I want to do in Emacs. They're going to be pretty short, I think. Might be a shorter stream tonight, but I would like to get into it. So let me show you what I want to do. I had read an article recently about advice, and I'd seen in other packages the usage of advice in Emacs Lisp, and I didn't really know what it was, and I thought it was kind of a weird function name that you're giving advice to a function, or I didn't even know what it was. But this article really cleared it up for me that you're basically tying into some like before and after hooks for other functions, which is pretty cool. So I would like to try to use that tonight to do something that, or I guess remedy something that's really bugged me in the past when I'm working in some large files. So let me show you my screen here. This is my Emacs config, my literate config, and I would like to add a little UI bonus goodness stuff. So when I'm searching a large file like this, or even just a regular file of code, a lot of times there'll be a lot of possibilities, like a lot of matches. And when I'm cycling through the matches, like I have Swiper installed, and sometimes I use Swiper. So if I want to see everything, like if I want to look for, I don't know, Github, then I can see all the results down here in my, in this little mini buffer down here. But like sometimes I'll go to one and then I want to go to the next GitHub result. So I press N. So it uses evil mode. So like Vim key binding. So N goes to the next, and capital N goes to the previous. And like when I'm going through here, sometimes I don't know where my cursor actually is, because as you can see, it highlights some of the other results sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't, like it did a minute ago, and now it doesn't. So I don't know what that was about. But you can see it, like it's hard to, there it goes, like all of them, all the GitHubs are located now. So anyway, it's hard to tell exactly which line my cursor is actually on. So I also found a function called, let me bring up the eval buffer here. I think it's something like pulse. Yeah, there it is, top of my history. Pulse momentary highlight one line. And it takes as an argument a point. So we can just say like the current point. And as you can see, well, I want to press enter, and you can see where my cursor currently is in my frame. It'll pulse like a highlight. So I'm going to do that. So you can see that on FLX. Let me go to a larger line and try the same thing. So let me do that again, and you can see how it has a kind of a pulse. So what I'd like to do is I would like to, after the search goes to the next result, so like the evil next, let's see, evil next match. I think it's evil next match. Yeah. So if, every time evil next match happens, or evil search next, that didn't look like it was it. So let's try evil. Look at that out there. So evil search next. Okay. Yeah. Binding to N. I could have done help N. So you can see here in my mini buffer, it's bound to N, but like if I know it's N, but I didn't know the name of the function, so I can press Control H and then K, and then press a key. I can press N, and it'll tell me what that's bound to, which is really cool. So you can see that N is bound to evil search next. So I should have done it that way. So we're going to add advice to evil search next and evil search previous, or prev, to pulse the line that it ends up on. So that every time I press N, I'll get a line pulse, so I can see exactly where I am in the file. So let me go back up here to like the UI area of my file, and in visualizations, let's add it here. So we can say something like, I don't know, highlight the matching line when searching with evil. How about that? And this will be some source, some Emacs Lisp. So let's open this little buffer over here. Let me turn off, as always, fly check mode. Let me turn that off. And let's figure out what we're going to do here. So first, since I'm going to be using the highlight thing multiple times for next and previous, I think it's probably a good idea to define my own function that will do that. In case in the future I want to do something else, like put something on the message buffer or the message line or anything else, it'd be nice to abstract that functionality away into my own function call so that if I do want to change in the future, I just have to change that one function instead of changing both advices. So let's define a function. I call it geo, and then I'll do a double dash after the UI. So this should meant to be more like private usage, I think is what the double dash kind of usually indicates. In any case, I do want to put it under like a UI type namespace. So let's say pulse highlight current line. How about that? And I also know, well, let's keep it like this for now. And then we'll just say highlight the current, let's say briefly highlight the current line. And then for now, let's make it interactive, even though it's not going to be in the future, but we do want to test it out. So we know it's pulse momentary highlight one line and then at the current point. So that's our function. Let me define that, and then let's run it. So geo UI pulse. Let's try that. Yep. Okay, so that works just fine. Try it again. It's beautiful. So advice. Let me look at the help documents for this. So if we go to, if I press Control H and then F, then I can say, show me the documentation on advice add. Okay, advice add. So it says here the signature is advice add, and then a symbol, which is the name of the function you want to add your advice around, and then where can be like before or after. I think there's some other options as well. And then the function itself. So our function in this case is going to be the geo/UI pulse highlight current line, and then it takes optional props, which we won't be needing, I don't believe. So there's unfortunately not a lot of documentation here. It says like add function, but for the function named symbol. Contrary to add function, this will properly handle the cases where symbol is defined as a macro, alias, command, ... whatever that means. So let's view in manual, see if there's more. Yeah, there's some more information here. Okay, so this could be helpful. Let's take a look in here. I've actually not seen the manual stuff. Advising named functions. A common use of advice is for named functions and macros. You could just use add function as in add function around symbol function, but you should use advice add and advice remove for that instead. This separate set of functions to manipulate pieces of advice applied to named functions offers the following extra features compared to add function. Well, if it adds stuff, that's good enough for me, and it's suggesting I use advice add instead of add function, so let's keep on that path. Yeah, advice add can be useful for altering the behavior of existing calls to an existing function without having to redefine the whole function. That's exactly what we want to do. However, it can be a source of bugs since existing callers to the function may assume the old behavior and worked incorrectly when the behavior is changed by advice. Okay, well, I doubt that's going to be an issue in our case. Advice can also cause confusion in debugging if the person doing the debugging does not notice or remember that the function has been modified by advice. Now, that may be something that would cause me confusion in the future. For these reasons, advice should be reserved for the cases where you cannot modify a function's behavior in any other way. If it is possible to do the same thing via a hook, that is preferable. If you simply want to change what a key does, it may be better to write a new command and remap the old command's key bindings to the new one. Well, this is making it sound like we should not write a before or an advice, but I kind of want to anyway. Where did that go? I don't know where we went in the documentation. I think we were in here. Yeah, here we go. So let's just keep doing this. Let's keep going because this is kind of what I wanted to get into and figure out. All right, function advice add symbol where function add the advice function to the named function symbol. Where and props have the same meaning as for add function. See core advising primitives. Let's look at that. All right, name gives a name to the advice. Okay. Depth specifies how to order the advice. Oh, these are the props. Okay. I was like, I don't remember name in the list. So let's look in here instead. When modifying a variable, no. Where determines how function is composed with the existing function, whether function should be called before or after the original function. So we want after. See advice combinators for the list of available ways to compose the two functions. That's what we want. Okay, so we have before, after, override, around, before, while, before, until. There's a lot of these. After, while, after, until, filter args, filter return. So let's start with before, after, because we want it to happen after the result, the next result is found and moved to. We want to flash, so we need to do it after. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, so let's try writing some code in here. Go back over here, my other window, please, and we'll say advice add. The symbol, the function we want was evil search next. We want it after is where. And then the function we want is this GOUI pulse highlight current line. I think that might be all we need. So let's define that. And then try running it in here. So let's just search for int. So next. Okay. That seems to be working. All right, let's turn off interactive. Let's see if it still works. Next. Yep, in. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Let's do the advice add evil search prev. And then again after. And we want GOUI pulse highlight current line. Let's define that. And then this is if I do capital N. So if I press Control H, K, and then capital N, it shows that this is evil search previous. Oh, it's not prev, it's previous. So let's do that. Evil search previous, not prev. Okay. Evil search previous. Is there an evil search prev? Let's see. Evil search prev. Nope, it's just previous. All right, cool. All right, let's just redefine that. Okay, so now if we press N, all right, we're not getting the flash. And if you see, like in the message line, it's giving us an error. Wrong number of arguments. And I think this is why. I think this is wrong up here. So if you look in, well, the documentation isn't great here, unfortunately. But if we look at this, wait, where is it? Well, I think it's add function props. I think it's expecting a list of arguments, and I don't remember exactly where I saw that in the documentation as I was, flipping through it a little bit before the stream. But I think that the function that it's called is called with some arguments, and we don't care about the arguments. I don't even know what they are, to be honest. But I do think there are some, which is why we're getting the wrong number of arguments. So if we say like ampersand rest args, I think this can say like everything else that comes after the first parameter, which in our case is nothing. Just shove those in this args list or whatever kind of thing that is in Emacs. So let's redefine this and now try pressing capital N. Yeah, now we're getting the right thing. And then N itself works, capital N works. I'm not sure why N was working earlier. Because it should have been calling the same thing with the rest args. So that's interesting. But like that's it, right? That's kind of what we were wanting to do. So let me put that back into my org file. And I think that might be all we need. Let me add a little bit of documentation here, or just some text to remind me why I did this or what it's doing. So when using evil search next and evil search previous, sometimes the match value is hard to find in the sea of text on the page. This will momentarily highlight the line in which the match was found. How about a match? Maybe the next or previous match was found. Let's do that. All right, save it. And that is that. That's all we need for there. Cool. That's done. So now, like if we do this big file, let's just search for GitHub again, like we were earlier. Now if I press N, we can kind of see on the page where that is a little bit better, even though on the short lines, I wish it did like the full length of the frame. But this is much better than it was before. So mission accomplished. Yeah, so you can see like it's much easier to find the cursor when it flashes like that, because you can see like all the GitHub matches are highlighted. Okay, cool. Let's do the next thing I was hoping to do. Let's in the previous stream I was working with some GitHub helpers, and to be honest, I think I forgot to save the file we were working on, and I don't have the function defined, I don't think, because like if we look for all the geo slashes, like there's killer buffers, pulse, like the stuff we were just working on, my Hydra stuff, GitHub open NPR, oh that's more Hydra stuff, more Hydra, okay, so we're still in the Hydras. Oh, there's one of my functions. Actually, you know what? Let's just search for defund geo slash. Okay, so we have doom mode line toggle word count, council ag thing at point, council ag, rename file and visit. Yeah, see, oh, open a GitHub. No, we don't want that. Open PR from branch. We've worked on that before. That's the help function we have already. List branches, current branch name, run command, geo trim. Oh, trim. Someone left a comment on one of my videos about trim, that there is a built-in function for trim, but it's not documented. So, let's see, what was it? Let's see, was it, let's just search for trim. Nope. String. Darn, what was it called? Maybe str? No. Okay, well, maybe I'll do another video where I replace that, because it was a good comment and I did find it in the list of functions. Actually, if I press Control H and then F, that should give me all the callables, not just the functions. So if I do strings dash trim, yeah, look at that, string trim. Trim string of leading and trailing strings matching trim left and string and trim right. Trim left and trim right default to white space. That's exactly what we were doing in my own function here, because I didn't think that was in there. But it is. Just not documented in the main Emacs Lisp documentation, which is crazy to me. All right, well, that's not what we're doing tonight, though. So let's actually, what if we... Nah, we won't do that tonight. Okay. Let's go back to more GitHub stuff. So let me go to my GitHub section. I think GitHub has its own section right here. Oh, that's my GitHub Hydra. Here we go, GitHub. Okay, so this is kind of where we want to add this new stuff. And let's just say list open PRs. Man, I wish I had saved that file. maybe this will be it for the stream tonight, and tomorrow or some other time I'll go back and actually watch my own stream and get that code back. I cannot believe I did not save that somewhere. It seems odd that I didn't. Well, I do know, like, I did save this other code from some other scratch buffer I've been working on at one point. So, like, this will sort of do what we're working on, and like if I press Control X, Control E to run this, so it does say, you know, Jeffrey Lessel has repos at github.com/geolessel, and that's what we are hoping for. Oh, you know what? I did it in a different, like in a real project. Let me bring up something off screen here. I think I may have saved it in another directory. Let's see. Emacs GitHub. That looks helpful, hopeful. Okay, I may have it. So if I go over here on the right side and open up development, Emacs GitHub, and then README. Okay, this is it. This is what we were doing. Perfect. So let's run this. Although I don't have, I guess I don't need the other things defined because it's all defined in here. Okay, so let's just call this geo GitHub list PRs for current repo. Yeah, step 1 and step 2. Cool. Yeah. So this is where we left off. So I'm going to go ahead and go back over here to the left and delete that. And we'll just keep working in the file we were working in, this GitHub Emacs file. Save that and close that. All right, in here. Now we have the list of PRs. What I was hoping to do is add a chooser where basically you can choose from the list of PRs and then open it in a browser window, which let me go ahead and open up a new window and put that on the screen. Whoa, it's huge. Put that on the screen here. There we go, right there. Should be good. Okay, so that'll be ready for us when we start opening windows. And I know I've written something in the past that allowed you to choose something, and I think that was back in my README, my main README here, one of these utilities. So like I can open a PR for a local branch, and this is where like I read the local branches and then choose one. Completing read. Oh, maybe that's it. It might be completing read. So if I say, well, let's look at documentation. Control H, F, completing read. Completing read. Not org completing read. Just straight completing read, please. Okay. Yeah, prompt collection. Read a string in the minibuffer with completion. Perfect. And then we have predicate, require match, initial input, hist, def, inherit input method. Prompt is a string to prompt with. Normally it ends in a colon and a space, which we did over there. Collection can be a list of strings, an A list, an ob array, or a hash table. Collection can also be a function to do the completion itself. Predicate limits completion to a subset of collection, which is what we want. Oh wait, no, we just want the whole collection. And let's see, you can see more for basic details about completion and info for expectations from collection when it's a function. Like if we want, like the problem I don't know how to solve yet, and we may solve in this stream, we may get too tired to do it, is I have the list of strings and from GitHub. And I don't know how to take that list of strings and actually open up the URL that's retrieved from that list of from the API that string that you select of the PR name corresponds to. So we'll have to figure that out. So we've got default values. All right, you know what? Let's go over here on this side, go to that other buffer. Which one was it? Oh, this one. Okay. And now we have the PRs being returned here in the temp or with temp buffer. But instead of messaging and then the PRs, let's do one of those completing read things. So let's comment this out and comment this out, but we are going to need some of these closing. What the? Okay. These closing parentheses. So many parentheses. All right, so in here, let's try, what was it? Completing read. I should have, let's keep this in the let list so we can print out what we chose. So let's move this up here. And so we're going to call this the selected PR. How about that? Selected PR is completing read of, let's see, can it give me some documentation on that? So prompt candidates rest. So the prompt was going to be can I change the buffer on this side back to my org file, my main my main file here, so I can see how I used it in the past. So yeah, first is the prompt. So we want PR to open in a colon and a space, and then the next is the list of possibilities of candidates. So that's going to be our PRs, and that's not a function. Next is predicate. We don't have a predicate. We do want to require a match. Require match. Then the next was the initial, and the next was the history, and then the final one was the default, or the default, which in this case we don't really need a default, so we can actually kill initial and history and just stay there. And so this closes off completing read, this closes off selected PR, this closes off the let list, and then we can actually use it. So let's say message that was chosen, and say the selected PR. Put that in there. Okay, so let's redefine this and run it. So GitHub list PRs for current repo. All right. Oh, no. So let's try that again. So it does have our two PRs that showed up. So if I can, filter these. So step 1, step 2. Let's try step 1 and see what it gives us. Step 1 chosen. Okay, so now we have the ability to get back the options. I'm wondering if this is where that function, the candidates can be other things other than a list of strings. And I'm wondering if this is where we need to do something about, or do something with that. So let me go back to the documentation here. Documentation. Nope, not that, not that. This one. So completing read. So collection can be a list of strings, which I believe is what we have, an A list, an ob array, or a hash table. And like, what if it is something other than a list of strings? Like, what does it know to return if you select it? Let's see, try completion, all completions, test completion, and completion boundaries for more details of completion, collection, and predicate. So let's try, look at there, I guess. Try completion is a function. Return common substring of all completions now. See also info node elist basic completion for details about completion. And info node programmed completion for expectations from collection when it's a function. Okay, if it's nil, that's for the defaults. There's also a manual let's look in there. I don't know what that's here. What's in the manual. This section describes the basic interface for reading from the minibuffer with completion. Yes. Okay. This function reads a string in the minibuffer, assisting the user by providing completion. It activates the minibuffer with prompt, which must be a string. The actual completion is done by passing the completion table collection and the completion predicate to the function try completion. This happens in certain commands bound in the local key maps used for completion. Some of these commands also call test completion. Thus, if predicate is non-nil, it should be compatible with collection and completion ignore case. See programmed completion for detailed requirements from collection as a function. Then let's talk about require match. Empty input is always permitted. Regardless of that I require match. That defaults to default. I was talking about history, initials deprecated, inherit input method, completion ignore case. Here's an example. Okay, so they have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And the user types barfoo. No. I don't know what the numbers are. Maybe they're The completing read function binds variables to pass information to the commands that actually do completion. They're described in the following section. Completing read function. This value of this variable must be a function which is called by completing read to actually do its work. It should accept the same arguments as completing read. This can be bound to a different function to completely override the normal behavior of completing read. Okay, so let's go back up to the top here and look at basic completion. Let's see what's in there. The following completion functions have nothing in themselves to do with minibuffers. Okay, we describe them here to keep them near the higher level completion features that do use the minibuffer. Try completion. This function returns the longest common substring of all possible completions of string and collection. So it returns a string, so we don't want that. I don't think. Function all completions. This function returns a list of all possible completions of string. Yeah, see, that's not it. Test completion. This function returns non-nil if string is a valid completion alternative. No. Completion boundary string. Oh, this function returns the boundaries of the field in which collection will operate, assuming that string holds the text before point. No. If you store completion A-list in a variable, you should mark the variable as risky. Ooh, I don't know. I've never heard of risky variables. Completion ignore case. Completion regex Lisp. Lazy completion terrible. No. Nope. Go back. Go P. Go. What's previous? Info. Previous is K. GK. Oh, has no previous. Okay, how about up? U. All right, completion commands, high-level completion, reading file names, completion variables, program completion. I think we may have to look through the results for that particular PR number. Yeah, so like we format here, in these lines, we format the PRs to be like the number, the hash sign, and then the PR number, and then the name of the PR comes after that. So we could again strip out the part that we need, which is the ID or the number, because we know it starts with a hash and then the number and then a space, because that we're setting that. So we can look for that. Okay, so we need to somehow find in the list the PR with that ID. So we're taking seek map, then going through all the PR or all the PR's P list, and getting number and title. So number is the one we want. I'm wondering, I've kind of forgotten what actually is returned from the API. So let's go over here, say GitHub API, GitHub API. Let's look at the docs for the API. Actually, let me open this up in a private browser just in case I'm logged in and there's details and stuff we should not be broadcasting. GitHub API. Let's look in here. REST API. Yep. Let's look for polls. Okay. Link relations. List pull requests. Okay. So we have the response here. And we want to pull out the URL based on the number. So find the number, and then if the object has that same number, then return the URL of that object. How are we going to do that? So I did find, let me bring up Dash. I did find last time that, let's go to Lisp, I think is the prefix. There we go. So I did find last time that there are some mapping functions like in here in the seek map sequence functions. That's what we wanted. So we can do like seek, so like a seek find, filter, seek find. Yeah. Okay. This function returns the first element in sequence for which predicate returns non-nil. If no element matches predicate, the function returns default. Note this function has an ambiguity if the found element is identical to default. All right, so this is passing in like a full like function, but we won't have the function. I wish it. Okay, so it's probably going to pass in each value. So let's go down here and try one. Let's flight check mode off this sucker. Okay, so let's try. What was it? Seek find, and this is what we need to define in a minute. But for now, let's say our list is a plist. I've kind of forgotten what a plist looks like. So let's see if there's a plist. Okay, so it's, yeah, this little single quote is the plist. Okay, so let's say single quote. The first one will be a plist itself. Can we make a plist in a plist? Is this a thing? Of number 1 title hey, and then a second plist, number 2 title ho, hey ho. All right, and now we need to use this. We need to find our function. It's gonna be a lambda, and it's gonna return, probably gonna pass in a candidate. And so we can say, is there like an equals EQ maybe? Yeah, equals, and we're going to get the plist get candidate, get from the candidate number, and I don't think we need this here. Number, see, that equals 2. And that closes up the lambda. This closes up the, okay, let's see if this returns. Nope, returns no. All right, let's do like a plist get. Let's make sure we have this portion right. The candidate is number 2 and title ho. Plist get that and number. What's that return? 2. Okay, so maybe we do need this. Like, what is that going to make it? Nope, still no. All right, let's look let's look back at seq find, sequence find, and see if there's number p. Like, what does number p take? Number p takes an object. Test whether its argument is a number. So we know that this is passing in an object. Let's do, can we like message out each candidate? Message candidate. Like, what happens if I do that? Wrong argument, wrong type argument, number, title, hey. What? Really? Am I closing everything out? Okay, yeah, I was. So what was the wrong type argument string? So this is the first argument, is this lambda. Do we do that? Oh, it's saying that because I'm trying to message the full candidate. Okay, well that's good actually. So we know that the first candidate is this number one title string, hey. All right, let's go back to plist. Plist get. Oh, so it's not. Maybe it's just this. Nope. Oh, that's still the message. So let's take the message out. Nil still. That does get 2. Okay. So let's put those back in. Let's try, like, what if this isn't, that's not going to work. Yeah. Oh, still got the message. Go away message. Yeah, nil. And then I'm pretty sure I still need that apostrophe. Yeah. Because that's, now I think it's a function. But we do need this as the plist. If I change the titles, just bring us back ho. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's, maybe I'm not doing equal correctly. We know number 2 title ho. Hey ho. Let's change this to hello. Just a little more friendly. Hello. Hello. Okay. So does plist get from this getting the number? Is that equal to? True. Okay. Well, what if we, like, I still don't know exactly what this little hash thing means, but what if we add that in there? Let's try that. It's still nil. Let's do the title back on it. Okay, so that's not it. Like I'm maybe this lambda thing doesn't work for this seek find. Is there another? Let's see if there's another example that actually uses. Okay, this uses a lambda filter, so it gives it the element, and then predicate returns non-nil. Well, we have 2 examples. Let's try seek filter. See if it works with seek filter. No. Nope. Fantastic. Doesn't work with 1, does it? No. Okay. Well, that actually makes me feel better. Let's take that back off. No. 1. No. Okay, so that still doesn't work. Does this make it work? No. Still no. Okay. Keep on searching. Keep on searching. Another element count. Yeah, see, I can't do that. Go back to seek find. Maybe, no, because I know the plist get actually does work here. Because this returns true. This returns nil. So we want a return of t for sure. Let's try just renaming the variables. No, that didn't work. That's not surprising. If it did work, that would be a cause for concern, in my opinion. Oh, you know what? This isn't a plist. This should be something else. An A list? Can I just do this? No. Shoot. I thought that might have been the answer. Okay, so message %s, and let's just look at the element. And then we gotta go to my messages buffer. I changed my keyboard, like it's a programmable keyboard. And I made it to my control key. If I hold it down, it's control. If I tap it, it's escape. And haven't quite got the timing right yet. So yeah, you can see I don't press it very well. All right, so we are receiving number 1 title hey and then hello as we go through the lambda here. So now it's just this what if we send another message like what does this return? %s of equal plist get ELT number 1. Like what does that do? What? That's weird. It gives me the whole lambda. Did I? Oh, I don't have enough. There we go. Closing parentheses. All right. Do that. Number 1 is nil. Number 2 is nil. Let's see. If you are yelling at your screen right now, I don't blame you. If I knew more Emacs Lisp, I might be doing the same for myself, saying, it's right here, you dummy. But unfortunately, I don't know it well enough to see what the obvious answer is. I'm sure it's in here. I think seek find is what we're wanting. We want to find the whole plist that corresponds to the number 1. But for some reason, we're not getting it. Does it have anything to do with like the... Remember last time I had to do these weird like backticks and then like these commas? Does that play into it at all? Like, do I have to like backtick this thing or something? No. That's not surprising. I want to stay at the end of the buffer. Okay. So we're still getting nil for the equal. What if it's this comma? Nope. Oh, that's a function. Yeah, we don't want a function. Oh, maybe this needs to be a function. No, that's a void function. Oh, it is a function because it's in parentheses already. So it should be calling that. And we know it works because this works. Just why doesn't it work up here? This does work, right? Yeah, T. And we are getting the full plist and the as the ELT. Let's change these back to parentheses. Yeah, number one, title, hey, hello. Okay, what if we search on title? Maybe that's just, maybe it doesn't actually do it as a number. Nope. Lovely. Okay. Well, I think I'm not going to force you to watch me stumble through this any longer. Perhaps I will end it here and do a little bit of research, maybe try to do some things offline, and by the next time I go live or make another little video, we can finish this up, because this particular thing is making me a little crazy because I'm not sure why our little test here is working, but up here it is not. Let's get, yep, that's hello. This is 2, so that's true. Maybe it's just seek find. Maybe I'm not doing that correctly. Seek find. Let's take a look back at the documentation. Returns the first element in sequence, for which predicate returns non-nil. Okay. We also sort, so we can take. Returns the first in elements of sequence. Let's just try a take. Let's just try seek take. Of course, this doesn't take a predicate. Take while, map. Let's try seek map. Element. Let's delete these, and let's just comment that out. And the thing we're going to map is we're going to return the plist get element number. Notice your title. Make it more obvious. So that closes up the lambda. Close up everything. Nil nil. So it's still saying the titles are nil. But we're getting 2 of them. So it works here. I bet we're just I was gonna say maybe it's not a plist, but again, this works here. So what if we just return the element itself? Kind of dumb, but yeah, that's kind of what I expected. All right, well, I've threatened to close this up more than once. Let's do it for real now. Thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry we didn't get much further on this GitHub thing. Would have liked to have, but I think the late hour for me and me not understanding the Emacs Lisp enough is making it to where I can't complete this tonight. So I apologize for that. But do thank you for watching. I have a book that I wrote called Phoenix in Action. It's based on the Phoenix framework for Elixir, and you can grab that online at phoenixinaction.com. You can also get 40% off anything at Manning phoenixinaction.com with the promo code TWITLESS40. It's 40% off everything, anything. Go grab something. Grab my book, phoenixinaction.com, or go to manning.com directly. I get a little bit extra cut if you go to phoenixinaction.com. That's why I show that one. But if you're interested in the Elixir programming language or Phoenix, please help me out and buy my book. It's I think it's pretty good. So thank you again for joining me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.